I think a shad spawn, a lot of it's kind of, we still don't fully understand it. So a lot of what I'm going to tell you is kind of just my experience. I don't write it down as the gospel because, you know, everybody out there can, you know, have an instance where it didn't work. But, you know, the shad spawn to me is one of those times that it's really an opportune time to catch fish, and it's probably a time that I don't utilize as often as I'd like to, or as much as I'd like to. You know, for me, I think the shad spawn, I think they spawn anytime the water's from the mid-60s to the mid-70s. And here in Oklahoma, you know, generally speaking, it can be different on any years. You know, I remember 8-10 years ago when I really cut my teeth on shad spawn. When I learned all about it, I didn't even know what a shad spawn was. I just knew there was shad all over the docks at Texoma, and you could reel a spinnerbait down the side of the dock and you could catch fish. I mean, it was like the best time of the year to ever fish Texoma was when that was going on. And it was just years later, I was like, oh, that's a shad spawn, you know. So kind of neat. It's a place, Jeff, you know, we always fished that all the time, and it was a lot of fun down there. And I don't think a shad spawn, for people that maybe are from the East Coast, you know, out there you guys got herring spawns, and that's a completely, I think it's a different deal. I think I've had success out there on some of those lakes like Clark's Hill and Murray in those herring spawns, and in my opinion, the biggest difference in a herring and a shad spawn is you got to cover even more water in a herring spawn, and you got to reel your bait even faster, because all you're trying to do is take it away from the bass, and I don't care how fast you reel a bait, you'll never ever take it away from a bass. This is my theory on shad spawns. Shad spawns happen at night. Like, it's a low light thing. It happens at night. They spawn on hard surfaces, you know, like rocks, docks, tires, clay banks, but it's happening at nighttime. And that's why, like, it only lasts for that first hour, maybe 2 hours in the morning, you know, maybe 9, 10 o'clock. If you got a foggy morning, it seems to be going a little bit longer. But here's my whole thinking on this, and this is kind of, I could be 100% wrong, but I've proved it a few times. I think in our lakes, we have, just like we have people that work during the day and sleep at night, I think we have, and then we got people that work at night and sleep during the day, I think we have bass that do the exact same thing. I think we have a whole group of bass, they feed during the day, they're at rest at night. But I think there's a whole other group of bass out there that feed at night and rest during the day. And you know, one of the reasons I think this is, like, a good friend of mine that fishes Table Rock religiously during the winter. December, January, February, night fishes. He will send me pictures. It'll be 20 degrees out there, and he's catching 4 to 7 pound largemouth at Table Rock, and he's catching these 3 to 6 pound smallmouth at will, and lots of them, at night during the winter. And it really made me think about it a few years ago when I'm talking to him about all this stuff, that's probably those fish, those big fish that we're catching, like at Conroe at the Classic. Man, I was blistering those big ones the first couple of days, if you all remember, on a spinnerbait in the first hour. And after that, you can't catch those fish. And you would think, you know, the fish were not in, they were in very shallow water. You ought to be able to go down those banks and catch some fish throughout the day, even if you had to get a shaky head or a drop shot. You couldn't do it. And I think it's those fish, those nighttime feeders that you're catching in the morning that just are still straggling around up there before they slide back off to their daytime haunts. I really firmly believe that. You guys may disagree with me, but I think there's definitely a group of fish, and I think that's why sometimes that shad spawn is so awesome right in the mornings. I mean, it's like a whole nother group of fish that don't normally see a spinnerbait because, you know, they're so accustomed to feeding at night. Another thing that
I think about them is a little bit smaller, but not a whole lot. Well, if we still had the regular Ned head up there, you would see that it's considerably smaller on the gap. So basically what I did is
Welcome to Bass University TV, an online video training course where you'll learn champion bass fishing techniques from pro anglers Pete Gluzek, Mike Iaconelli, and their talented special guests. From on the water to in the classroom, you'll learn sound techniques and strong fundamental bass fishing skills. Watch hours of video content on multiple topics at your own pace for a low monthly fee. Cancel at any time. Information is power in the sport of fishing, so learn from the very best. Subscribe to Bass University TV today.